Hi everyone, my name is Alejandra.
Hi everyone, my name's Peter.
And this is my husband. Today we will be talking about finances before getting hitched. A lot of you guys asked me questions or commented on the questionnaire that I did on my Instagram story about how we dealt with it. Now we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about how we did it. We actually talked about finances even way before we got engaged. I was actually on a work trip and we would FaceTime the whole time, so we had all kinds of time to talk about it. We first talked about our debts, right?
Yeah, we pretty much put everything down on the table.
Mm-hmm. I even made lists from, like, I think I still have those lists roaming around our house as to what kind of debt we had. Of course, I have my car and whatever credit card debts we both might have, which were pretty minimal, so that was a good thing. We also even brought up our credit scores because we do have plans for the future to get a house or do other bigger purchases. So on that we were pretty good, and even if we're good, we're still working on even making it better. There's no such thing as having too much good credit. Now what else did we talk about?
Bank accounts.
Yeah, that's so true. We did disclose our bank accounts. Now at this point we already had built this trust between us. So I know at first it was a little bit weird, like, oh, I'm gonna disclose how much I make at work, or like, that's kind of weird. I'm sure he felt the same at some point. But at that point we already had in mind that we wanted to get engaged and live a life together. But we did disclose our incomes. Now we also, even going back to that list we made a list of what our potential rent might be, what our utilities might be, our my car payment, or even our cell phone bills. We even discussed about, like, included all his expenses for his horses, and at the time I had a dog, so even dog food was in that list. So we really went deep into that list so we can know exactly what we were working on and if we would be able to handle it at that point as a couple living together and having all these expenses. Luckily, we were able to move forward with our plans, and when we got engaged, it was a little bit more of a peace of mind that we had because we knew we had talked about all of that. Therefore, like in Mexican or Hispanic families, you don't really discuss that. It's like, oh, the guy brings stuff to the table. And I was more used to being an independent woman, so I kind of felt weird that he was like, oh, well, you should need to slow your roll on that. Like, I'm here to help the both of us as a family. And that took me some time to learn, and even today sometimes I still struggle with it, but I see us as one now. So if he needs something, I'm there, and I need something, me as well.
Yeah, it took her a while.
Yeah, but I mean, now we're totally fine, and we have goals. So now our next point is savings. We decided to open up a savings account together, especially for that wedding that was coming up that we just had about a week ago. So we opened up that savings account. We have our separate checkings account, but we always disclose our numbers. And then I always put a certain amount of money in my savings account because we have future plans. And I remember at one point, 6 months into being married, I literally sat on this couch and I told him, I haven't been saving because we had all these events, and we had we had my mom's birthday party, and then Christmas came along, my sister's birthday, and your birthday, and just everything. So I was like, man, I have to spend so much, and I don't want to give whack gifts either. So there my money went. So I felt so embarrassed to tell my own husband, man, I have not saved, I haven't put anything in my savings account. Keep in mind, our wedding was 6 months away, and it's no cheap wedding. So I was like, okay, at that point you told me oh, then it's okay, just start saving from now on, we're good still. But I was so embarrassed. I was like, shit, and I'm pretty sure you could tell when I was telling you I was so embarrassed.
I'm I'm your husband, you're supposed to tell me.
Yeah, so so I got over it. So, but I built up the courage to tell him and be like, you know what, like, this is what I have in my savings and I have not put much in it. But after that, I was so embarrassed and I felt so guilty that after that, like, I would always, always, always put money in that savings account, because like later on, like in 2 months, I was like, okay, now we have this much. And he was like, okay, like there's progress, like there's been progress. So I would literally, like, let's say I love, you know, girly stuff, getting my nails done, my lashes and stuff. So if I really wanted to save money from that time that I had not, I stopped doing my lashes, or I would prolong getting my nails done. And you know, you can live without all that stuff. Or like if I go to the mall and I really like something, I always put it in this balance of, is it a need or is it a want? And I always see it as, okay, if I really want it, then I'm gonna have to save for it and wait for it. But if I need it, then yeah, go for it. But I always put it in that balance. That has helped me for the last couple years, even when I was in college. Is it a need or is it a want? If it's a need, then okay, well I'll get it. But if it's just a want, those nice pair of shoes, like it can wait. You know, priorities are priorities. Now that's definitely one of the major tips that we can offer, is just saving. And you have to know exactly what are the saving habits of each one, you know, him and myself, or in your case, for you and your partner, as well as what are your spending habits. You know, a savings account can't just be one way. Like in the situation where it was, like I was not saving, I wasn't spending the money that was already in the savings account. I was just spending the money in my checkings account, which either way, you know, we see it as now like both our money is our money, not just mine is mine and his is his. Because at the end of the day, if something happens tomorrow and like let's say he doesn't work, God forbid, like my money is gonna be split around for all of our expenses, not just mine. So definitely look into the spending habits, the saving habits, even and like I said, one of my tips that worked for me was that balance that I mentioned, that need or the want. That really has worked for me for years. Any saving tips from you?
Well, I mean, just limit. I mean, you don't really have to limit yourself, but like know what you really have to spend on, and what, like what she was explaining earlier, is it a necessity or is it a want?
Yeah.
But I mean, pretty much, I think it's very important to be saving at this time of around in life. Like you never know what could happen. I mean, you could get fired and you don't have money in your account. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Or anything like could happen.
And that's so true. And that's something that you have to bring up before you get married, because once you're married and you're dealing with all this stuff, you're gonna be like, man, like why didn't we ever talk about this before? Like it doesn't mean that it's gonna make or break a relationship. It just means that you guys have to be knowledgeable of how you guys both handle finances, because studies have shown that finances have caused majority part of the divorces. And I don't plan to ever divorce my husband. So you know, that was something that I decided to take the lead on and talk about. And luckily he was open enough to share his numbers with me, and I wanted to share my numbers with him, so we can go ahead and flourish as a couple, as one. So definitely talk about that before even getting engaged, in my opinion. Now it's up to anyone and up to you guys. Now anything else that you want to bring up for finances?
I mean, it's just very important to talk about finances before getting engaged. Or, I mean, that's like one big step, because if you don't have that trust, I mean, I think it would be very hard.
Yeah, and I think that's a big word, trust. And I think a lot of people do not trust on disclosing their numbers, because they feel like, oh, okay, they're gold diggers, or they don't make enough money, I'm just gonna drop their ass. Like, it's not even like that. Like,
and it's not a competition between each other. Like whoever brings in more money to the account, like good. Like remember, it's only one. Like it's a one married couple. You're not competing against each other to see who brings in more money into the account, or vice versa. But
yeah, whether it's the girl that makes more or the guy that makes more, you guys have to really you know, if the love is there, that's not going to matter at all. Like it just definitely doesn't, because Like I said, he could lose his job tomorrow, and I'm still gonna still hold it down for him because he's my husband and I love him. And I'm sure he's gonna do the same thing if I were to lose my job tomorrow as well. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's not a competition. We're in it for the same reasons. We both want to be together forever. And you guys really think about that before taking that big step in your life. You know, it's not just about finances, but do you trust this person with your money? Do you trust this person with your accounts? And technically that's pretty much life, because without money you can't really, or credit, you can't really do much or accomplish some goals in life. Excuse me. But if you guys have any questions or concerns, or just want to know a little bit more of what we talked about today, let us know. You can go ahead and DM me or contact him as well on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are pretty new here, so go ahead and give it a thumbs up.
Thank you guys.
Bye.